on the heels of Kristi Noem and Pam Bondi getting axed, Labor Secretary Lori Chavez-DeRemer is the third cabinet member to leave her post. Third woman, I'm just pointing that out. It's all been women. Her exit comes amid misconduct allegations, including taxpayer-funded personal trips, and an inappropriate relationship with a subordinate. That's what they say, child, that's what they say. And her husband engaging in sexual misconduct.
Of course.
They say it didn't happen. Wait, they all deny the allegations. They said, nah, we didn't do anything wrong. Nah, we didn't. Yes, Joy?
Well, I like to quote the great philosopher Chris Rock, which he said, crackhead, go with crackhead.
But wait, there's more. At the same time, FBI Director Kash Patel is suing the Atlantic for $250 million over allegations of excessive drinking and unexplained absence, which he also denies. He says the story is a lie full of false and fabricated allegations. Take a look.
The Atlantic magazine director is alleging that you have a drinking problem, that it is getting in the way of your work running the FBI. What is your response this morning to this article?
The results, I say, speak for themselves. If the fake news mafia isn't hitting you personally with baseless information in Washington, D.C., then you're not doing your job. This FBI has the most prolific year in crime reduction in United States history. You want to attack my character? Come at me. Bring it on. I'll see you in court.
He never should have been confirmed to begin with. And we have to stop putting all the blame on the people who nominated this incompetent, toxic, malignant individual. What about the people who confirmed him? All of them deeply unserious and deeply unqualified. And now the country is paying the price.
So the Atlantic is defending their reporting, calling the lawsuit meritless. What's wrong with the machine? Okay, thank you. So it's like a trip watching this thing. So what is going on with you-know-who's cabinet picks? People disappearing, people having sex all over the place, allegedly. People having all, I mean, it's crazy when you look at how many people are going and what's going on. What happened to the hiring of the best people?
Also, how did we not do the story of Congresswoman Lauren Boebert being like, why is everyone in D.C. so horny? I asked the same question.
Yes.
But in all seriousness, these positions matter. These are important positions of public trust, and I'll especially focus on the FBI director.
Correct.
So traditionally, an FBI director is above the partisan fold. They really have the public trust. I think of Louis Freeh, Christopher Wray, Robert Mueller, long before we knew him from the Mueller report, because their jobs are so important. And right now,
it didn't matter whether they're Republican or Democrat.
Most served under multiple terms.
You generally didn't know if they were Republican or Democrat.
Exactly. Their politics didn't show. And this comes right now, this lack of faith and confidence in the FBI. When we're at war with Iran, one of the FBI's jobs is to monitor sleeper terrorist cells in the United States. So if Iranian-affiliated terrorist organizations might try to attack the homeland, I don't want to hear these allegations when that's a very real threat. And I'd also say public trust in the FBI is low. I think of two very high-profile cases. Charlie Kirk's assassination, it wasn't the FBI that solved it. Eventually, he was turned over by his own family. It was local law enforcement. And in fact, they put out inaccurate information early on. And then I think all of us are still praying over Nancy Guthrie, just hoping that she is going to be found. Like, I'm starting to lose faith in our federal law enforcement, and I've never felt like that in my lifetime. So regardless of who you vote for, who's in the White House, you want good people there. And I don't know if we have them right now.
I don't think we have them either. I mean, he did Whoopi say that he was going to hire the best of the best. And I think, you know, when we're looking at Pete Hegseth and we're looking at Kash Patel and we're looking at Kristi Noem, it's clear Robert Kennedy Jr. R.F. Kennedy Jr.
I'm sorry.
It just seems to be very clear that the best of the best are not there. They're deeply incompetent, deeply unserious. And I, too, having worked with the FBI as a federal prosecutor, I've never seen an FBI be. I mean, he
J.
claims.
Edgar Hoover, hello.
I don't think she saw Hoover.
Yeah, but he claims that the FBI has done so much work, but you point to the case of Nancy Guthrie. Where is Mrs. Guthrie? The other thing that I will say is he only had 6 women in his cabinet. For 3 of them to have resigned and stepped down, that means 50% of the women have stepped down. There's a real problem there. And in terms of Kash Patel, he is suing for defamation. The defense to defamation is the truth. And so he's a public figure. That's a very high legal standard. That means that he has to show that the Atlantic reported this with actual malice. Yeah. That is such a high standard. And the Atlantic is saying they interviewed 12 sources, 12 people. So if those 12 people come forward during a deposition and tell the truth, it would be a very interesting
that
dynamic.
would make good TV.
Yeah.
One
Very dynamic.
and also,
interesting dynamic.
sorry,
As he mentioned, I think he called it the fake news mafia. I want to remind, I think it's rich coming from someone in this administration to talk about that, because when you look at traditional media, these types of institutions have people overseeing them. So you can't just say anything. In fact, you jump through about 10 hoops before it gets to air. So as bad as traditional media gets a rap for, there was a purpose for it, which is now that people are flocking to individuals that used to be legitimate journalists that have their own podcast or they're on X, no one's vetting that.
Yeah.
That is literally the definition of fake news.
Yeah.
So when a reputable institution does it, just know there are phases before these things come out. So I think that's an important note. But I also would say more concerning than just these allegations is the handling of his role itself. On Sunday, he said, we're going to relitigate the 2020 election. And it
That's
being
Kash
stolen.
Patel.
That's Kash Patel on Sunday. Now, Alyssa just rattled off all that's going on in the world that we're concerned with and that it's not getting done. And the head of the FBI is worried about the 2020 election. How often do we hear after January 6th, hey guys, let's just forget about that little hurdle and like focus on the future.
Awful.
Now we're going to relitigate something that's been proven in our courts. Like, you're wasting our time. You're wasting our money. Let's get some stuff done.
First of all, when he just said in the tape we just saw that crime is low, as it's never been before so low, is he what about the crime in this administration? He forgot about that. And the other thing is, I'm wondering, does Trump pick these people because they're incompetent? That way he has stuff on them?
It's only
Or is
loyalty.
he so incompetent that he doesn't know they're incompetent? This is the question I have.
Yeah.
Does an incompetent person know they're incompetent?
Yeah, it's like people who are just really stupid. They don't know they're stupid.
Sarah Isgur had a good point on that when she was on the other day. She said he demands either full loyalty or competence, but it's hard to have both of those. And I think we've seen that in a number of these
And when are the
examples.
men going to start resigning also?
Well,
Only the women.
some of these
That's
didn't resign. They were taken out
Resign's a
back.
sweet way of saying
Taken out.
You know,
reassign.
look, it is what is happening is the chickens are coming home to roost. You know, that's what's happening. And some things you have to watch it play out. Because if you're gonna start this, you better have all your receipts in order. And make a change. But we'll see what happens, because both sides are saying this is what happened. So it's he said, she said, they said, we said. We'll watch. Bring on the popcorn.